Hello, welcome to part 1 of the Lab 9, which is weather map analysis. And really quickly, the first page, there's some key words and things I need to point out to you. One of them is Greenwich Mean Time, which is abbreviated as GMT, which is also the Coordinated Universal Time. And in meteorology, we call this the ZUL, Z-U-L-U, or Z time. It's a universal 12, so it's a universal midnight time for all places. That way we can correlate weather conditions over the course of the globe. And so when we do an entire global view, these are some key words and abbreviations that you're going to see. Some other things is that this is known as station modeling or World Meteorology Organization's work, and that we're going to be looking at figure 1 or 9-1, which is going to give us like a blow up of one station model, which is the next page. And you're going to be deducing information from that station model, and then you're going to be taking it and moving it onto a universal scale with multiple station models. So we're going to go to the next page and we'll talk about how to read the station models. So here you need to take a minute and look at this page over here that I'm circling, because it's giving you how to read the station model right up above here. So for each station point, there's some different information that can come off of it. One is the wind speed and wind direction, and that's the little tail line that's coming off the backside here. And some of the other information that's on here is the view of temperature, and so that's written at the top. So we have temperature. And some of the other information is a dew point temperature. So you got temperature, dew point temperature. So that would be on this example 30. Dew point temperature is 28. Another one is if there is a weather condition, which is this little dash mark right here, so it's saying snow. And if there is a weather condition, they'll tell you the visibility of that weather condition sometimes. And so this one has 3/4 of a mile of visibility. Some other information is up here in this corner is barometric pressure. And this is really the tricky one. Out of all the information that's written here, the barometric pressure is the trickiest. In the example written on the page, it is 147, but it's missing some information. And that is it's missing the first 2 digits or 1 digit to the number. If the number is between 0 up to about 40, you should put a 10 in front of the number. If the number is anywhere from 7 up to about 9, you should put a 9 in front of the number. So for example, in this one where it says 147, the first number starts with a 1, therefore I'm going to put a 10 in front. So this is actually 1,014.7 millibars of pressure. That's why I said it's tricky. This is the trickiest part of the whole station reading. Below that is the tendencies. And right here there's this little dash line. If it looks like you could take the numbers, which is the little decimal next to it, which is the percentage of tendency or the amount of barometric pressure change that will occur, which is going to be 0.28. And if you can walk that number up the hill, so for example, you've got the little number, let's say I got the number 1, and this is my tendency, that line I drew. If the 1 can march up the hill, then the tendency is rising. On the other hand, if the 1 is looking at a tendency like this, so that if it tried to climb up the hill, it'd fall down, the tendency is falling. So some of the other information that I could give you is that right now, according to our model written right here, the tendency is rising, and it's rising at 0.28. That means in 3 hours' time, the number above will rise by 0.28, which means that it will be 1,014.98 millibars of pressure. So that just gives you some more information. Below that can be precipitation and the amount of precipitation accumulation if you're having precipitation or snow. So you can also have snow accumulation written below. So there's a lot of information that you can deduce from here. Make sure that you read it properly. And I'll take a minute and do one of the stations with you, but I'll do the trickiest. I'll do this bottom station with you. So for some more information to help you out, in the textbook on pages 226 and on the last page of the book, 227, which is like the cover pages, is image readers that will show you the information that you need to actually answer some of these questions. So if you're seeing symbols like the double asterisk there, the symbol key is in the back of the book. Also, the station itself being filled with a black marcation or being filled halfway, how to read that sky cover is on page 226 as well. But that'll help you understand all these tendencies and symbols. There's also a wind speed chart on that page, so there's a lot of information that can help you out on reading the charts. Okay, so the first question is current weather. The current weather is this little asterisk symbol here. And if I look on my chart on page 227, it tells me that the double asterisk is snow. So that makes life really easy. It's snow. So it's snowing. That's the current weather condition. It's snowing. Snow. The barometric pressure is written up here. And as we said, it's missing the first number set, which could be a 10 or a 9. And since this first number here is a 9, I'm going to put a 9 in front. And so this would be 999.7. I'm going to have a hard time squeezing all these numbers on this little line with my big writer. I'm sorry. Temperature is written right up here, and it's in Fahrenheit in this example, and it says 27, so it's 27 degrees Fahrenheit. Dew point is written down here, so that means it's 20 degrees Fahrenheit. Make sure you're putting in your units. Sky cover is the dot itself, so the dot itself, and this is completely overcast. And that is what this is called. So the sky cover is completely overcast. The book must have a misprint because it has current weather again, so just cross that out and ignore that. Now let's go on to wind speed. Wind speed is the knots written up on the top here. And I said that the single whole line is 10 knots and that the half line is 5 knots and flags are 50 knots, and you add them up. So this one is 10, 10, and 5. So that's 10, 20, 5. So the wind speed is 25 knots. Don't write K. It's not 25K, it's 25 knots. K is Kelvin, so that would be wrong. Don't do that. Wind direction has to do with setting up this system as a standard compass, right? So this is north up here, this is south, this over here is west, and this side is east. And that means that this up here is in the northwest, so the wind direction is a northwesterly. Wind. As far as pressure change, that's written right here. And in tendency is to fall, because we can see the line, so it's a falling tendency, fall. And the pressure change is going to change by 11. So it's going to go down by a lot. And notice there's no decimal in this one, so it's just 11 on this one. And so it's going to go down by 11, which means I'm going to take my 999.7. I'm going to subtract 11 from that. I'm going to get 988.7 MBs. Make sure you're writing units. I didn't write a unit up here, so I'm smushy. So now you guys can do the other stations that are written here. This is the most complex of all the stations, and this will be all for this part 1, and I'll meet you back for a part 2 video.